My half-sister planned to show up to my engagement party in a wedding dress to upstage me, so I turned it into a costume party at the last minute, and she was furious when her bride look became just another outfit in the crowd. My half-sister Heather, I never really got along. We both are 24. My father left my mother for her mother, and we were born the same month 20 days apart. It has always been weird. It doesn't help that Heather's mom hates me and my mom. By extension, Heather and I didn't have the best relationship. She has always tried to one-up me. Even though we both have a similar economic background. I can give examples of this, but for the sake of the word limit and the fact that I could probably go on forever, I won't write them here. So now my fiancé and I got engaged last month and had our engagement party this Saturday. We had planned it originally as a casual formal event. Nice dresses, but not I am going to the Met Gala ball nice. More like we are going to a good restaurant nice. Anyway, my cousin hits me up saying she has to show me something. It was the picture of the dress Heather was gonna wear. This dress. Jesus Christ. It can only be described as opulent. It was long and white. Strapless with sewn-in crystals and golden accents. I'm pretty sure it's a wedding dress, but I can't be 100%. This made me really mad. So I decided, screw that. I started texting people telling them that there had been a change of plans. And that instead of casual formal, I decided to make a costume party. My mother's side is crazy for Halloween, so they were immediately on board. I told my father via text, and asked for him to relay the message to Heather and her mother, knowing damn well that he would forget or leave it to the last minute. Saturday comes along and guests start showing up. Most of them in costumes. Some didn't have time to get one, so we just provided them with fun hats and cheap wigs. Heather, my dad, and her mother come like 1 hour later than everyone else. As soon as she notices that everyone was either wearing elaborate costumes or weird accessories and she didn't stand out, she lost it. Especially when my fiancé came along and told her that her bride dress looked amazing for a cheap costume. She left crying, and her mother and my father told me that I was being childish and I could have told Heather myself and not have asked my father to relay the message. For those interested, my fiancé was dressed as Bubbles and I was dressed as Mojo Jojo. My mom and aunts went as ABBA. Other memorable costumes were Monkey D, Luffy and Zorro, Ian Malcolm and John Hammond, and Jesus Lowell. Added for the people asking why did I even invite her? It's one of those weird family situations where not inviting them would have been more dramatic. You know when you try pleasing everyone. Plus I still wanted a relationship with my father, so not inviting Heather and her mom would have made things super difficult and made it so my father would have had to choose. When I kept thinking of it, I noticed that my father wouldn't have chosen me on this scenario. Which is why I ended up cutting them off. And for the person who said you let her win. No. The point of this is to ruin my half-sister's intentions. She wasn't just dressed nicely as some of you put it. She wore a wedding dress to my engagement party. I'd much rather subvert this whole mess rather than have her smugly sitting at the table with her wedding dress. Also, some of you are really hung up on the cheap wigs part and ignore literally everything else regarding the party. A minority of our guests wore those cheap wigs. Also, it literally doesn't matter. We had a blast. After she left, I didn't even think of her again till a few days later. I don't regret the costume party. I wish I thought of it earlier, to be honest. Edit. I didn't think I would have to mention that I have indeed tried to talk to Heather, her mother and my father a million times about her behavior. It never helps and she just does something more outrageous. All the ways of diplomacy and dialogue have been exhausted, and so am I lol. Edit 2. Some people seem to think this is about my wedding. It's the engagement party. Heather wasn't the one to show me what she was going to wear. My cousin did. Also, this is not about Heather wearing a nice dress. Heather was going to wear something that looked suspiciously like a wedding dress. The dress code stated casual formal. Not white tie. Relevant comments. Commenter, I saw your post on Am I the Asshole first. What you did was so petty, I love it. Please tell me you disinvited them to your entire wedding after that though. OP, I have officially gone no contact with that side of the family. My father was a spineless slug. I never looked forward to seeing him and had little love left for him. Update 20 months later. I had planned countless times to update this post, but I was too lazy and always stopped halfway trough lol. Anyway. I keep seeing my post as a TikTok. I also saw an account that pretended to have an update. Apparently my husband cheated with my half-sister, my mother exploded, and my grandma is a dog. To the actual update, I got married. It was an eventful and thankfully drama-free day. My father was not in attendance. After my engagement party I realized that he would never choose me willingly. Even if he loves me, he doesn't love me enough to stand up for me. He constantly allows his wife and daughter to walk over me and even become abusive. So I wrote him a lengthy email from my old school days email account. It detailed my resentful feelings against him and uninvited him from the wedding. Then I logged out. Because I know myself. I would be upset with his answer, and if he wouldn't not answer, then I would also be upset. I also blocked him and his family from all access. And I went cold turkey. Freezing even. I changed phone providers and deleted my social media accounts for a while. He did try to contact me through my mother. She said it was just upsetting. So I told her I did not want to know. So I just cut him off. And boy, my life improved drastically. We had an amazing wedding. Here's some unhinged things that happened after the wedding. 1. I got a cease and desist letter from my half-sister. It was very vague and weird, but we quickly found out that it was only a Google copypasta. 2. My stepmother followed me to the supermarket and tried to intimidate me, to apologize to Heather. She made the produce wildly uncomfortable. 3. My father tried to pick me up at work. He was walking next to me while I went to my car. He was trying to get me to apologize to Heather and her mom. He said that I should be the bigger person and that I know how both of them are. So I just told him that he must be mistaken, because my father is dead. He just stood there as I drove off. Then they started to bother the rest of the extended family. Heather and her mom apparently wanted them to cut me off finally. Which backfired spectacularly, because now they are cut off. Which also means that they are excluded from a lot of family events that they were looking forward to, plus they can't use my uncle's cabin. So Heather's mom had allegedly been at her sister's since the whole breakdown. I have to be honest. I don't know how much of this is true. As you know, the toxic gossip train always has to be taken with a grain of salt. I don't know, but I think it's funny. A sad thing is, that I don't even miss my father. His absence has made zero negative effect on my life. We did have one more costume party around Halloween. But this time we gave everyone more time and it was even more fun. My mom's side of the family all pitched in, we got a venue and invited a bunch of people. I recommend this to everyone. I met so many of my cousin's friends, who I have kept in touch with. Nothing else has changed. I still have my old job, I'm not pregnant. We have the same old apartment. We did redecorate though. So that is all for me. Not all too dramatic.